Hello Internet, Kevin Blaze here, showrunner of Operation Pug, and I'm going to start a vlog. I've never done a vlog before, so bear with me, but I thought it would be fun to have some supplemental material for the channel and also provide some behind-the-scenes stuff and get a look at how I make the show and answer questions about what it's all about and how we do things, and so here we go. So where did the Oracle come from? Why am I doing this? Valid question. When I was a kid, I fell in love with puppetry. Of course, a huge fan of the Muppets. Jim Henson, was one of the most influential figures I can think of on me. I used to design and build my own puppets. I taught myself puppeteering and got really serious about it. By the time I was about 15 or so, it started to fall away because, it's really hard to build a career in puppeteering, and it's just not the kind of thing that your average 15-year-old is into anymore. Things like rock music and dating became much more intriguing to me at that age, so it kind of dropped away, but I never lost my love of it. So advance the timeline about 30 years, and some friends of mine and I who we play online video games, specifically we were playing Diablo 3 a lot, I remember at the time, started talking about how tired we were of waiting for the new Venture Brothers season, because we were all big Venture Brothers fans, and how we should just make a cartoon. And that seemed like a crazy speculative thing, and I started looking into what it would take to actually do it, because I had done some animation work before. I worked as a graphic artist and a web developer, so it was like, I'll bet you I could figure this out. So I did, and we started a website called Operation Pug, the main feature of which was the cartoon, of which there are a couple of episodes out, and you can go and watch those at this address.
And who exactly are you?
Me? Why, I'm simply a humble hedge wizard, versed in the ways of the world. Nothing more.
You're making that up.
Look, I'm trying to give you a quest here. Do you want it or not?
And from the cartoon, it kind of branched out. We started doing, game reviews. We started a podcast because, of course, we did.
Yeah. Well, since I shaved my head,
Oh,
right,
yes, yeah.
I figure I've got kind of an Aleister Crowley thing going on now.
I kind of noticed that when I came in. I'm like,
basically, what I look like, for the podcast audio listeners, I look like Anton LaVey cosplaying Aleister Crowley.
So,
There you go.
And I kept talking about, when I would talk about how the cartoon was produced, I realized real early on that one of the things that I was drawing on for how to do the animations and how the characters were to perform was I was pulling on really old puppetry instincts. There's a kind of common language of movement between puppetry and animation. If you sort of understand how movement works, that knowledge applies to both fields. So I kept talking about how, this is like puppeteering, it's just not happening in real time, whenever I would talk about the cartoon. But that's where it was. That's where I left it, and I didn't really think anything more about it. Now, skip to October of 2018, and myself, my wife, and Jamie and his girlfriend, and Jamie is one of the people who works on Operation Pug with me. Shout outs, Jamie. We were on vacation in New York City, one of my favorite places in the world. One of the things on the agenda for the New York trip was to visit the Jim Henson exhibit at the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens. Fantastic. If you ever get a chance, go. One of the things that they have is a kind of demo kiosk where they have these little practice puppets and a camera and a monitor set up, and you can kind of see how they make the Muppets and try it for yourself. And it's a really nice little sort of demonstration area. And so I'm there with my wife and Jamie and his girlfriend, and Jamie immediately grabs a puppet and tries it on and tries doing some stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. And I hadn't put on a puppet in decades at this point, right? And I wasn't even thinking about doing it. But I just, I kind of went, okay, fine, whatever. So I grabbed one of the practice puppets, put it on, and the neurons fired up in my brain, and suddenly it was like I remembered everything. All the instincts were still there, and I was just doing a little performance with this one shaggy monster puppet, and people were laughing. And the bug hit me. So the next morning at breakfast, it's myself and Jamie, my wife, and his girlfriend, and of course, I'm driving everybody nuts because I won't stop talking about puppets. It just fired something in my brain, and I knew from that moment on that I had to do something with puppets again. And it was really odd because it had never occurred to me that I could. I mean, I've done a lot of video work, I've done a lot of live streaming, I have a fair amount of equipment, and I started to realize really quickly that all I really need are some puppets. And I can do a puppet thing. Why aren't I doing this? This is literally my childhood ambition. This is a lifelong dream to be able to do puppets. I mean, if you were to ask me at any point in my life, if you could do anything right now, what would you do? It would be puppeteering. So it was like this moment of revelation where it's like, well, I can just do that. It's the internet. I can just make a show. So from that point on, it became more a matter of not if I'm going to do a puppet thing, but what is that puppet thing going to be? And at first we were talking about possibly doing like live streams, because I was live streaming a lot of board games at the time, and I was like, well, we could get the puppet in and do board game live stream. And I realized that, I haven't actively puppeteered in about 35 years. I'll bet you my stamina is not so good anymore. Let's do something that I can take breaks during. But then it was a matter of, what are the characters and where am I going to get these puppets? Because I had no idea. I had been not looking at puppet stuff, again, for 35 years. So I knew nothing. And then finding all of this great stuff online. There's tons of studios who are actively working in the field, and it's fantastic. And I got in touch with some makers and started the ball rolling on getting some puppets manufactured, one of them being Kevin Gorby from Luna's Puppets. Shout out to Kevin, who made Frankie. On Etsy, I found Ezequiel Marin Volgoso, who is a Spanish maker who makes these fantastic puppets that are quite affordable, and also his sense of design was fantastic. And as soon as I saw this little goblin puppet, I was like, that's got to be a character in the show. I don't care what it is, it's going to be something. But then it was really just a matter of writing the scripts. So I sat down with Jamie and Andrew, my partners in Operation Pug, and we started hammering out, some of the questions. We decided it was going to be a talk show. That way we can sort of riff on questions, but also encourage audience participation, because that's, you want to engage with your audience, and it makes it fun for everybody. So that's kind of it. That's where the Oracle came from. We launched the channel just last week, and I'm quite pleased with the response it's been getting. I thank everybody for their shares. Right now, of course, until or if the algorithm grabs us, we're relying on word of mouth. So please share this stuff. I guess this is a call to action, but click like and subscribe. But the show is so much fun to do. The characters are so much fun to personify. And I hope you all enjoy it, and keep watching, because we're doing regular updates. There are enough scripts to last for months, and we're writing more all the time. So I hope you've enjoyed this first episode of the vlog. Next time I think we'll do a little bit less me rambling and more me showing around the little studio room I've got here. We'll take a look at some of the puppets and show you a little bit about how I actually record the show. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.